Hello, this is the One Gospel Bible Caravan, and I'm Heath.
I'm Holly.
She is Holly all day. And this is the overview episode number 4. And that's because we're going to talk about what's coming up in the next 7 days of the Chronological Bible in a Year project that we're doing together. And Holly, I'm looking at this screen right now. Oh, I do see something that says share screen. Is this going to work? Is it going to work? Is it going to work? I don't know. Let's see. Window and share. Okay, they should be seeing that now. So now, yep, they do see it. Look, see that, Holly?
Sweet.
There it is. Okay. You officially are welcome here in the Bible Caravan. And I'm going to go to the next slide. And I'm going to make sure that the volume is down on that so you don't hear any background music because I don't have headphones on. Holly does. Did you hear anything, by the way?
I heard music.
You did hear music. Okay.
Yes, I did. Beautiful music.
And then I quickly just faded it.
Yeah.
Almost like a paraprofessional.
Sorta, yeah.
Okay, thank you. So we're making progress. Look at that. We're like, I don't know, a couple percent done. Isn't that exciting, Holly?
It looks like a pie.
Yes. The blue is what we've completed. The friendly orange is what's yet to come. So what is coming up on days 17 through 23? Well, it's 71 minutes of content if you were to watch the videos that we have already uploaded, the 365 episodes. This would be episode 17 through 23, but you could also read it yourself, probably faster than we read it. But what's coming up? Well, the end of Genesis. So we're at the point where Joseph reunites with his brothers, going through the death of Joseph. So we're covering 50 plus years. And in the biblical genealogies, generations number 22 through 27. And from there, instead of going into Exodus, we go into Job. We'll explain that why in a second. But the first 18 chapters involve a number of dialogues. Job has 5, and then his friends have a number, and a number of dialogues. And also there's an introduction as well. This is just a list there of the readings that are upcoming. And let's talk about why Job should go after Genesis. Have you thought about this, Holly?
Yeah, I figure that it's because of the timeline of when Job lived.
How do we know when Job lived, Holly?
Because the Bible tells us.
Well,
gives us clues, I should say.
One of the Bibles tells us. That's
gives us
exciting.
clues.
So in the Greek translation of the Hebrew Bible, also called the Septuagint, there is an extension after Job 42:17, which gives you the background of Job. Do you want to read it, Holly?
Sure. And Job died an old man and full of days, and it is written that he will rise again with those whom the Lord raises up. This man is described in the Syriac book as living in the land of Osis, on the borders of Idumea and Arabia. And his name before was Jobab. And having taken an Arabian wife, he begot a son whose name was Enon. And he himself was the son of his father Zarir, one of the sons of Esau, of his mother Basorha, so that he was the 5th from Abram. And these were the kings who reigned in Edom, which the country he also ruled over. First Balak, the son of Beor, and the name and the name of his city was Dinaba. But after Balak, Jobab, who is called Job, and after him Asam, who was the governor out of the country of Thaman, and after him Adad, the son of Barad, who destroyed Madiam in the plain of Moab. And the name of the city was Gethaim. And his friends who came to him were Alphaz of the children of Esau, king of the Thamanites, Baldad, son of the Sorshians, and Sophar, king of the Minians. I just slaughtered all those words.
Oh, it's okay. They're dead. They don't mind. So we see here that he would have been a grandson of Esau.
Yes.
And so that that may not be something that everyone accepts, but it's the oldest tradition we have. And so I think it's worth mentioning, and it's also worth saying, hey, if you're going to put Job somewhere, why don't you go with the oldest tradition we have? So I always like to tell you what quotes from the section that we're going to read, how is it quoted in the New Testament. I only have one quote for this section. There could be more that I don't have. Please share them. That'd be fine. But in Paul's letter to the Corinthians, the first letter, he quotes the phrase, "He catches the wise in their own craftiness." And that is found word for word in Job 5:13. So that tells you that Paul viewed Job as inspired. And I think that's worth mentioning. What do you think, Holly?
I do.
Okay, Holly endorses it. So I have what I'm calling now caravan questions. It's been upgraded from the some questions label of the past.
Catchy.
Yes, very, very, very catchy. Yeah. So these are just questions that you may think about while you're reading the things in front of you. So I'll read one, Holly will read another, and we'll take it from there. So was the blessing by laying on of hands by Jacob found in Genesis 48? Was that a precursor to Jesus blessing children by laying hands on them? And that's found in both Matthew, Mark, and Luke.
Okay. Is the blessing of Judah, Genesis 49, a prophecy of Jesus?
And that's an interesting verse. So that might end up being something that Holly wants to talk about next week. We'll see. Was the request by Satan to test Job found in both Job 1 and Job 2? Do you think that's similar to Satan wanting to sift Peter like wheat? And that's found in Luke 22. Jesus says this. And then a related question would be whether Satan wanting to sift Peter like wheat, was that a similar context where Satan went up to heaven to ask God if he could do this. So that's and then Jesus acted as an advocate, a intermediary or a mediator. I am
Mediator?
I'm slaughtering words myself.
It's catching.
A mediator. Go ahead, Holly.
All right. Satan is literally adversary and is variously translated as Satan in some passages and adversary in others. In Greek, Satan in Job is translated as diablos, devil, and is literally slanderer. Both words are used for Satan, the devil, by Jesus. What does this tell us?
Yes. So Satan is seemingly a title and a name, and it has different but related meanings. So that's something to think about.
To ponder.
Yeah. So Eliphaz's description of God in Job 5 says, to set up on high those that be low, that those which mourn may be exalted to safety. So this is a theme that is found in both prophets and the gospel. So, just taking it all together, what's this telling us about God? That's another rhetorical question for you to consider.
I don't see where you're at.
Okay,
So
that's
you just
fine.
keep reading.
So, Job calls God the Holy One in Job 6:10, which is a title given to him throughout the prophets at least 40 times. That's a lot. Holy ones can also be a priest, prophets, and angels, but only one figure is called the most holy in Daniel 9:24. Jesus is called the Holy One by an angel in Luke 135, by demons in both Mark and Luke, by Peter in multiple verses in Acts, and Paul in another verse in Acts. So how is it that only Jesus can be the unique holy one that's found in Psalms 16?
That's a good question. And I have fixed my computer so I can read the next one.
Oh, that's
I don't know what was
wonderful.
going on when
Holly's
when I
recovered.
tried to scroll up and down with the buttons, it wouldn't give me the next screen where you were. I had to go to the side and click on the frames. Anyway, what is Job's view of the afterlife life in Job 7, chapter 7, and Job chapter 14?
And Job uses the word Sheol in Greek Hades, translated as either the grave or hell. Is this the same place that Jesus describes using the word Hades in Luke 16:22-23?
Well, that's interesting too. Job says that only God treads on the waves of the sea. Job 9. Who else is known to have walked on the waves? Hint, hint. See Matthew 14, Mark 6, and John 6. I think we know the answer to
I
that
think
one
we
already.
might know the answer to that. I think our kindergartners know the
They
answer to that in our
do.
Sunday school class.
They do.
Okay, so this is just another encouragement. Let's make the study together. Pass on important cross references I didn't provide. Give me questions I didn't think of, and help me make the chronological sequence better or clearer to break it up. And like I just thought, I don't understand why the sequence that we chose to follow, why they broke up some of the dialogues when they didn't have to. I feel like it makes more sense to just read the dialogue from beginning to end. So, having said all of that, it's now Holly's turn to talk. And so I'm going to stop sharing. Doo-doo. Back to the video.
That's exciting.
We're back to the webcam.
Yeah.
And I am going to, because I know what Holly's going to talk about. I'm pulling up her little thing she sent me. I can't wait. So, just for those of you who may be new to this, so I ask questions before the reading, and then after the reading, so Holly will pick a question or two to talk about. So she chose a question, of course, from last week from Overview episode 3. And now I get to go along for the ride.
Yeah. So it actually was really hard to narrow down a question. As Heath knew earlier in the day, I texted him like 5 that I thought were interesting. But once I started looking into them, I settled on one, which had to do with the fear of the Lord. So the question was Genesis 42:18, and I'll read that before I give his question. Then Joseph said to them, the third day, do this and live, for I fear God. So Joseph fears God, something prescribed by Jesus in Luke 12:5. And that is, but I will show you whom you should fear. Fear him who, after he is killed, has power to cast into hell. Yes, I say to you to fear him. Paul in 2 Corinthians 7:1 says, therefore, having these promises, beloved, let us cleanse ourselves from all filthiness of the flesh and spirit, perfecting holiness in the fear of God.
I'm sharing you now, Holly.
Ooh, Ephesians 5:21. Therefore, do not be unwise, but understand what the will of the Lord is, and do not be drunk with wine, in which is dispensation the Lord is, and do not. But be filled with the Spirit, speaking to one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing and making melody in your heart to the Lord, giving thanks always for all things to God the Father, in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, submitting to one another in the fear of God. So fear of the Lord or God is our theme. And Peter, 1 Peter 2:17, honor all people, love the brotherhood, fear God, honor the king. So after referencing those verses, ooh, there goes my iPad.
She
Heath
didn't
said,
want that.
hopefully it's okay. Heath said, what does it mean to fear God? So I like to look further into the question before I give an answer. So I looked up a few verses to continue our search on fear of the Lord in the Bible to kind of get the answer to the question. So here are a couple verses I came up with. The first was Proverbs 9:10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. Psalm 111:10 is similar. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all those who do his commandments. His praise endures forever. Then Ecclesiastes 12:13. And I also read 14 because I liked how it rolled into it. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is man's all. And verse 14 continues, for God will bring every work into God judgment, including every secret thing, whether good or evil. Then two more proverbs for you. Proverbs 14:27. The fear of the Lord is the fountain of life, to turn one away from the snares of death. Proverbs 19:23. The fear of the Lord leads to life, and he who has it will abide in satisfaction. He will not be visited with evil. Then I took a look at it referenced in Malachi, where we have an example of here. So then those who feared the Lord spoke to one another, and the Lord listened and heard them. So a book of remembrance was written before him for those who fear the Lord and who meditate on his name. They shall be mine, says the Lord of hosts, on the day that I make them my jewels, and I will spare them as a man spares his own son who serves him. Then you shall again discern between the righteous and the wicked, between one who serves God and one who does not serve him. Then we're almost there. I've got a lot of verses here. Psalm 147:11. The Lord takes pleasure in those who fear him, in those who hope in his mercy. In Isaiah 11:2-3. The Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him, the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, the Spirit of knowledge and the fear of the Lord. So after reading Heath's verses and then all my additional verses, I came to a couple conclusions, and we'll see if Mr. Heath over here agrees with me or wants to expound on it. So fearing the Lord is recognizing his divine nature and responding with reverence, which is profound awe or deep respect. So we acknowledge that he is God in my mind. You know, he's God, we're not. He is, you know, his ways are not our ways, you know, not the other way around. To fear the Lord, you keep his commandments and you follow his statutes. The fear of the Lord leads to life and beginning of wisdom and understanding. It can save you from the snares of death and Hades. Those who fear the Lord are God's people. The fear of the Lord is one of the qualities of the Messiah, which we, read in Isaiah. Jesus, who's Jesus. It is a quality that all Christians should possess. What do you think, Mr. Mackley? Did I nail it?
I don't have headphones on, but I'm assuming the applause.
That was really cool. But I feel like often, I don't know if you feel this way too, but you hear like, I feel like not enough people fear God. Like I find myself sometimes seeing certain things happening and I'm like, don't they fear God? Like what they're saying or what they're doing. I think that there's a lot of lack of that in the world that we live in.
Yeah, totally. So I'm going to go back to the webcam again. So you're not allowed to pick your nose. But we have other things here too. Like I can do this.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. And then there's the. I'm going to stop doing this in a second. Don't worry. Okay.
Friday
So,
night fun.
yeah. It's, no one's watching. So it's, no one's watching live. I'm sure someone will eventually watch this. But um, that being said, yeah, fearing God is a command. You said that,
Oh,
right?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you see that Leviticus 19:32, you see it Deuteronomy 6:13, Deuteronomy 6:24, um, Deuteronomy 10:12, Deuteronomy 10:20, Deuteronomy 13:4. They're all commands. So it's pretty consistent. And and there's lots of phrases around it that sort of amplify what it means to fear God. And I think Holly put it together nicely.
Yeah.
And I really don't have anything too exciting to add to that.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's you can keep going down. It's not really a rabbit hole, but just keep expounding upon the idea. But I really, when I was reading the verses I chose, I really like the connection between the fear of the Lord being the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One and understanding. And the idea, like in Psalm 111, when it talks about a good understanding, have those who do his commandments and his praise endures forever, is the idea that I think sometimes Christians can tend to think that they don't need to follow the law, the commandments, because we've been, Jesus died for our sins on the cross, and that it's kind of like thrown away. And that's not what we say to do as Christians, but I've heard and seen that before. And to me, these are things that God set forth, and there's wisdom in them, and they're good to do, you know.
I would agree with you, Holly.
Yeah. Got a little bit of a ramble there, but I really was meditating on Psalm
Yes.
111:10. I thought that had a lot of wisdom in it.
So you see there a picture of Joseph being carried by the Egyptians. And I think that we will see you next week. And I will stop sharing that so I can wave at the camera and can please give us comments, any of that stuff. We'll take it and have a great weekend.
Bye-bye.